evening. We'll call the Cary Town Council meeting to order. As you can tell, once again, I am not Mayor Harold Weinbrecht. He and his family are out of town on a much-needed family vacation, so y'all stuck with me again for one more time. Also not here this evening is Councilmember Lori Bush. She had to leave town on an emergency for a family issue. So I would just ask that we all keep Lori and her family in our thoughts and prayers. At this point, I will recognize Councilmember Smith for the ceremonial opening.
Thank you, Mayor Pro Tem. Like all of you, I'm deeply heartbroken by the horrific mass shooting at Robb Elementary School in Uvalde, Texas on Tuesday. And all of us on council extend our sincere condolences to the families and community who lost loved ones through this very senseless and heinous act of hate. I would ask that all of you just join me in a moment of silence to remember those lives tragically taken too soon. If you'll just bow your heads. Thank you. Amen. This Monday, May 30th, is Memorial Day, and American Legion Post 67 will host their annual ceremony at Hillcrest Cemetery. It will begin at 10 a.m., and they invite all, and you're encouraged to attend. It's one of those where you bring your own chairs and everything and just come out and pay your respects there. That same day, in the afternoon, please join us at Veterans Freedom Park for Cary's Memorial Day Remembrance Ceremony, and that begins at 2:30. And as the only veteran on the council, I'm honored to again MC that afternoon program as we honor those who have fallen while defending our freedoms. This ceremony will feature guest speaker Gunnery Sergeant Jeffrey Sherman, who served in the Marine Corps for 23 years, along with patriotic music from the Cary Town Band. If you're unable to make the ceremonies, I encourage you to stop by the Freedom Park next week to see the field of flags that have been placed there in honor of those who bravely served in the armed forces. Now join me for the Pledge of Allegiance. Thank you.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Mr. Smith. We are at the point of the agenda where we need to adopt an agenda. So is there a motion to adopt the agenda?
So moved.
Second.
All right, there's a motion and a second. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries unanimously. We now move to recognition reports and presentations, and at this point, I'll recognize Manager Stiegel for the manager's update.
Thank you, Mayor Pro Tem France. Building on Councilmember Smith's recognition of the Texas tragedy, and of course what happened last week in New York, I wanted to let everyone know that Chief Solt has increased our police presence at Cary schools and other public places as work continues to understand the facts of both events. No community ever truly, deeply believes that this type of horror will come their way, and the same goes for most of our citizens in Cary. We acknowledge that terror is possible, but we don't live out each day focused on the worst things each day may bring. But thankfully, our public safety professionals do. They work hard to detect and undo the plots and plans before they occur. Historically, ensuring public safety is the primary job of cities. That's why we exist. There's no higher purpose in local government. So on behalf of all of Cary, I want to thank Chief Solt, Chief Cooper, and Public Safety Director Tony Desmitz for the public safety team's heightened attention and visibility during these extremely difficult times. And with that, Mayor Pro Tem France, I'll turn it back over to you.
Thank you, Mr. Stiegel. Our next agenda item is Public Speaks Out. We've included instructions for speaking at this forum on the online and printed agenda. There were 3 opportunities to participate in Public Speaks Out through written comments, calling in, or attending in person. So if you are here in person and would like to speak, please take a seat in the rows to my right over here that are shown as reserved, the ones with the bright lights shining on them. Public Speaks Out speakers have up to 3 minutes each for their comments, and speakers may speak on any town-related topic as long as it's not a public hearing. If If it's a public hearing, you get 5 minutes. The 3-minute time limit will be enforced, not to be rude, but to be fair to everyone here in attendance. There is a timer on the podium to help you adhere to that 3-minute limit. When you have 30 seconds left, the green light will turn to yellow, and when your time is up, a flashing red light will appear. I thank everyone in the audience for respecting that this is a business meeting. Please do not applaud, make remarks from your seat, or anything else that may distract from this meeting. So I will now open it up, Public Speaks Out, and call on the clerk to read any written comments, recognize any call-in speakers, and then we'll follow that up with registered speakers.
We have no written comments, call-in speakers, nor registered speakers.
Thank you. All right, at this point, I will open those who are here in person and would like to speak. Anyone at all? All right, I will close Public Speaks Out, and we will now move to the consent agenda. For the benefit of people watching our meeting, I will take a moment to review our consent agenda items. One vote approves all of these items. Adjustment to adopted meeting schedule, sole source purchase of Aquastar automated meter infrastructure system equipment, 21 REZ 19, Estes residential rezoning and consistency statement, 21 REZ 15, 109 Appaloosa Trail and consistency statement, 21A 15, Hogan annexation, calling for a public hearing for 22A05, Green McManus annexation, resolution to adopt the new FEMA flood insurance study and flood insurance rate maps, and the ever so exciting bid award for the 2022 water main replacement project. Would any council member like to pull anything from the consent agenda?
No, thank you.
Seeing no one, is there a motion to approve the consent agenda?
So moved. Oh, excuse me.
We have a motion and a second. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Anybody opposed? That passes unanimously. All right, scroll, scroll, scroll. All right, we are now at the part of our meeting for public hearings. The same rules that apply for Public Speaks Out apply, except speakers will now have 5 minutes. And at this point, it is time for the budget public hearing on the recommended FY 2023 budget, and we will recognize Ms. Stacy Teachy from Finance.
Great. Good evening, Council. I'm here to introduce the next citizen participation opportunity in preparation for the fiscal year beginning on July 1st, 2022. The recommended budget includes authorization for operating and capital expenditures totaling $443.6 million. This total budget amount is 10.9% more than the prior year, and this expenditure increase is largely offset with sales tax revenue expectations. The FY 2023 recommended budget maintains the property tax rate at 34.5 cents per every $100 of assessed valuation. It includes a $1.50 monthly solid waste and recycling fee increase from $20.50 to $22 per month, bringing the program's cost recovery to 94%. And it also includes a 3% increase to utility rates. This increase will equate to an estimated $2.30 per month increase for the average family of four's utility bill. This budget facilitates work in 5 key areas. It maintains and expands service levels and infrastructure while moving forward with priority areas like stormwater, housing, and the environment. It ensures that funding is in place to support the downtown park when it is ready to come online. It supports police staffing and vehicle needs by adding 6 downtown police officers and completing the department's transition to a 1 officer to 1 assigned vehicle service model. It also recognizes that our employees are the key to keeping Cary Cary by funding a new employee compensation program and supporting Cary's pay for performance program at an average 5% merit award. This meeting has been advertised as the official statutorily required public hearing specifically on this recommended budget. In addition, staff requests budget public input year-round. On a monthly basis, we have and will continue to prompt our citizens to share their thoughts and values about the budget through social media and the BUD newsletter. We provide multiple ways for citizens to tell us what they're thinking by email, phone, Twitter, or Facebook. And of course, citizens always have the opportunity to comment at any Public Speaks Out portion of your regular council meetings. Any citizen comments on the budget that come in by social media, email, or voicemail are shared with you all in the quarterly reports throughout the year. We advertised this formal public hearing beginning May the 12th, and today we've shared comments that arrived by noon since that advertisement. And after the public hearing starts, we'll summarize any citizen comments received. But before we begin, here's a reminder of where we are in this budget process. After tonight's public hearing, there will be a second opportunity at the June 9th council meeting for the public to share their thoughts. The schedule anticipates council budget adoption on June 23rd to prepare for the new fiscal year beginning July 1st. Thank you for your attention to this crucial component of our fiscal management, and this concludes staff comments prior to the public hearing on the fiscal year 2023 recommended budget.
Thank you, Ms. Teachy. At this point, I will open the public hearing and call on the clerk to read any written comments, recognize any call-in speakers, followed by any registered speakers.
We have received no written comments, call-in speakers, nor registered speakers.
Okay. At this point, I will open the public hearing for those who are here in person and wish to speak on the FY23 fiscal budget. Don't everybody come at once. Okay, at this point, I will close the public hearing and open it up to council members for any questions or comments.
I guess I have one quick question.
Thank goodness somebody's going to say something.
Well, it may be a testament to how well our staff did their job.
Yes,
that
it is.
So few people are coming out for Public Speaks Out, or public hearing. At our work session, you showed us that our neighboring municipalities are still, like their tax rate is at least 5 cents above ours. Is that right? 5 cents per $100?
The proposed rates,
The
yes.
proposed rates?
Are you speaking to a specific neighbor or?
Oh, just any of them. I mean, the chart that you had showed us, I think
Yes.
the next one was maybe Morrisville,
that's
and
right.
then, and so on and so forth. Is that
Yes.
still tracking the same? Are we still
Yes,
the
it is.
lowest tax rate in Wake County?
Yes, it is.
Okay,
By a lot.
by a lot, okay.
Especially for a community of this size, we are really low.
Yeah. So for us to be able to increase our budget by the amount that we did is because of the growth that has occurred that's fueling that amount of money to come in.
That is a piece of it. Sales tax, as I mentioned, is a large offset to that this year, as we spoke about in the meeting on May 12th, I believe was the date. We are not seeing any significant changes in that area, so we feel really comfortable with the 5% increase that we have budgeted above last year's sales tax revenue estimate.
Okay.
Or this current year, sorry, above current year.
That's great.
Okay. Any other questions, comments?
If we really wanted to get more speakers, we could raise it.
It is kind of fascinating that you're getting ready to spend $443 million,
Yeah.
and there's nobody here. So I agree with Ms. Robinson. It is a testament to the work of our staff and budget and finance. You all do an amazing job, and then this council as well. I think we all have a lot to be proud of, and I think that speaks to the trust that we have earned from our citizens for the most part, So there will be one more public hearing on June 9th, so if folks want to come speak to us, they've got one more opportunity there. And as Ms. Teachy mentioned, they can always email us, the clerk's office, 311, anybody, and be glad to have their input and feedback, really would. So, all right,
Absolutely, thank you.
Thank you.
thank you. All right, now we move to, I guess, discussion items, yep. All right, we move to discussion items. First one is the bid award for Lazy Days Playground construction, and we will recognize Miss Alex Jones.
Good evening, Council. I'm really happy to be here tonight to bring this to your consideration. The Lazy Days Playground upgrades is part of the Shaping Cary's Tomorrow 2019 Bond Project Group. Bond Park is where the playground is located, and Bond Park is a keystone of our park system, our largest park, and it's home to a number of facilities that provide a wide variety of amenities. The Lazy Days Playground is located in a wooded clearing, and it was last updated in 1997. Shown here in the foreground is the area for younger children to play, and in the background is the play equipment for the older children. Of course, the sand play area is well-loved by children, though perhaps not as much loved by some parents and our maintenance staff. The new play equipment takes inspiration from the design of the Ropes Challenge course and the boathouse that blend with the surrounding wooded areas. Natural wood play structures will reflect the wooded setting of the park, and the updated equipment provides many of the same features as are in the existing equipment, but more, with still having the separate play areas for different age groups. The existing mulch will be replaced with an easier-to-maintain pour-and-play surface. There's going to be a couple more spring riders, a small merry-go-round, swings that are not all shown on the rendering, and of course, an improved sandbox. We're improving the sidewalk for an ADA-accessible path from the handicap parking spaces to the play area. And finally, we'll install landscaping to help the play area feel like a forest glen where the children can have a little adventure. Our lowest responsive and responsible bidder was McQueen Construction with a bid of $969,045.50. And the project cost summary is inclusive of the construction contract, any project contingency for a total project cost of about $1,114,000, which I'm happy to say falls within the existing budgeted amount and no additional funds are requested. We plan to start construction late this summer, and we expect the playground to be closed for about 7 months while our contractor works with reopening in spring of 2023. The reason for the long construction timeframe is in part because we have custom play equipment, but it's also due to ongoing supply chain issues that you've heard me update you about frequently in our quarterly meetings. We are working with our contractor to minimize the closure time, as well as evaluating if play equipment suppliers could provide an alternative more quickly that still meets the design intent. But we believe 7 months is a realistic timeframe at this point. In conclusion, staff recommends that council award the construction bid for Lazy Days Playground updates to McQueen Construction for $969,045.50, and I'm available to take your questions.
Thank you, Ms. Jones. Does anybody have any questions for Ms. Jones? Comments?
I will make a comment. I wish I was a kid again. That looks amazing. Yeah.
You are still a kid, Ms.
I-
Robinson.
Thank you. I will be out there sliding. I will make a motion that we award the bid construction for the Lazy Days Playground upgrades to McQueen Construction.
Second.
Well, I got a motion, a second, and a third. You want to do a fourth?
Okay.
Okay, we got a fourth. All right, all in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Anybody opposed? All right, that carries unanimously. Thank you, Ms. Jones. And next, we move to conveyance of surplus police motorcycles. And I will recognize Cary Solt of our police department.
Mayor Pro Tem, Council, thank you for this opportunity to present this request. Cary has a long history of helping other organizations, agencies, particularly in the government sector, that are less fortunate than us. In this case, we're talking about the Watkinsville, Georgia Police Department. Now, this is a community about 8 miles south of Athens, Georgia. It's less than 3,000 in population. And we have 2 surplus motorcycles. They're 2009 model motorcycles. And we have surplus them and replaced them. We are a much broader community. I have a lot more square miles than this very small town. And they're looking to start their first motorcycle unit. They intend on providing support to their citizens on the highway. There is one through highway that kind of leads up to the University of Georgia, and it will provide a great resource for them in going forward. Ultimately, this is a simple request to donate these motorcycles to Watkinsville, and we are recommending that you pass a resolution authorizing the conveyance to be transferred over to Watkinsville.
Thank you, Chief. Do council members have any questions or comments on this one?
I'm really glad we're doing this, helping other communities.
I presume that the fact that we're sending them to Georgia is because no North Carolina communities were in need of these, like none in our region.
None that I'm aware of. They
Okay.
actually reached out. We actually put them out for bid, and
Okay.
Watkinsville reached out to us.
Oh, okay, okay, sounds good. Happy to do this.
Okay. Is there a motion?
I'll make a motion to convey those motorcycles.
Second.
Okay.
I'll second that, I think.
All right. All All right, we have a motion. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Anybody opposed? That carries unanimously.
Thank you.
Thank you. All right. Somehow I lost my agenda, but let me get here. All right, and our final item of the evening is traffic calming policy revisions, and we'll recognize Mr. Jerry Jensen of our staff.
Great. Good evening, Council. I'd like to share with you tonight some updates to the traffic calming program and its associated policy. Let me take a quick minute to remind you why we developed the traffic calming program nearly 2 decades ago. First, we wanted to ensure our neighborhood streets are as safe as they can be. We also want our street space to be shared by all users, whether that's walkers, bikers, or drivers. And finally, this program reinforces Cary's commitment to providing a positive quality of life experience for our citizens. Feedback from citizens previously engaged in the traffic calming program has helped shape the proposed improvements before you this evening. Staff routinely communicates with program participants, collaborating on ideas for traffic calming solutions and learning a lot in the process. Ideas for changes were brought to a multidisciplinary team of Cary staff, referred to as the Traffic Calming Committee, to identify how these changes to the program may impact other programs and services like emergency response, solid waste service, and transit operations. It is also worth noting that staff presented and received feedback for program enhancements from our Citizens-Based Transportation Working Group. As outlined in the staff report, some of the more significant proposed improvements to the program include reorganize our policy and procedure to separate the adaptive vision, which is the policy, from the technical process provided in the procedure. The updated procedure will help clarify and streamline the request and petition process and how traffic calming will be evaluated, developed, and approved by the neighborhood and supported by town staff. We have always had a community engagement program for traffic calming, but we are proposing to expand it to allow more voices to be heard while developing traffic calming options. This will be particularly helpful when discussing traffic calming for streets within very large neighborhoods and along streets that serve multiple neighborhoods. Funding contributed by neighborhoods can be a roadblock at times, so we've developed a more flexible and equitable way to cost-share traffic calming projects with the town. We still have a cost-sharing plan for neighborhoods. However, in cases where speeding is habitually aggressive and causing serious safety issues, the town will contribute 100% towards the project cost. And finally, we received many requests for traffic calming on older-style collector streets. Our current policy prohibits traffic calming on collectors. The updated policy and procedure will provide an opportunity for collector streets to be considered for traffic calming improvements, and these improvements will be paid entirely by the town since collector streets serve a significantly larger population and doesn't necessarily serve a single neighborhood. Following the adoption of the policy statement tonight, next steps will include the town manager's review and approval of the associated and updated standard procedure 111. Any future amendments to the standard procedure considered by the town manager would likely improve upon the efficiency and effectiveness in the collaboration with residents and homeowners on how to request, design, and construct traffic calming devices. But any changes would be consistent with the policy statement. Finally, our websites will be updated to include all the new information that can be shared with our community. So staff recommends council adopt the amended policy statement 124 traffic calming program. This concludes my presentation, and I'm happy to answer any questions that you may have.
Thank you, Mr. Jensen. Any questions for Mr. Jensen? Comments? Mr. Smith?
Yeah, I really appreciate this effort. I don't know if it's just coincidence of where I live or just I haven't talked to the rest of you that much. But the phenomena that we've had over the last couple of years is GPS. And in the past, a lot of our streets historically would never be viewed as cut-through traffic, things of that nature. And as the area around us grows, and traffic gets backed up on the major arteries, people use their GPS and they're cutting through. So, you know, we now have many situations where with that cut-through traffic on the old collector roads especially, we have to just get a little bit smarter of how we help to manage that. And so I'm really excited about this. Jerry, I know we've had a couple of test programs out my way, and I'm sure that helped as these conclusions came forward. But it's just one of those new phenomena that we just never had before. Who the heck would have thought 20 years ago the technology would have changed to the point where these roads would then become the cut-through traffic that they're becoming today. So I'm really excited about this. I'm glad to see it moving forward.
I'm excited that you figured out how to use GPS.
He didn't say that. He
I
said-
didn't say that.
I'm surprised you can spell it.
He had to do that, didn't he? He just had to do that.
You know I'm pulling your leg.
I do.
But good comments. I agree with you wholeheartedly. I think it's not just your side of town. I think a lot of places,
Yeah.
especially with the
Everywhere.
apps like Waze and others that, you know, drive folks off the main roads into the cut-through stuff. So, yes, sir.
Yeah, I just wanted to add, because we didn't kind of touch on this, even though that we will allow for the consideration of traffic calming on collector, the standard will be very, very high. And want to make sure that citizens understand, you know, collector roads are supposed to have traffic on them. If you take traffic on them, you're going to then push it more into the neighborhoods.
Correct.
And so you could actually make the problem worse, and also, you know, our public safety vehicles. So I'm always in favor of getting rid of any self-limitations that say you can't do anything ever,
Right.
but the standard will still be very, very, very high.
There's a but there.
Yeah, it's a big but. So I wanted to make sure, you know, we're not given that impression that there's going to be traffic calming on collector roads, because there probably won't be very much.
He's looking at me when he says.
Yeah, I just want to make sure.
Well,
Yeah,
I'm making.
so.
Okay, well, I have a question first. I forget the exact term you used, but it was, roads with problematic speeding or chronic speeding or whatever. I'm assuming that would be judged based on data collection and not opinion.
Yeah, every traffic request that we get to do, we actually will collect data, do a study on speed. And when I say egregious, aggressive speeding, that would be like 9 miles per hour or over. And we do have a few of those cases.
Okay. I knew the answer, just wanted to make sure others maybe watching heard it. All right. Any other questions, comments? All right, Mr. Smith?
I make a motion that we adopt the amended policy statement, 124 traffic calming program.
Second.
All right, we have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? All in favor, please say aye.
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 Any opposed? Didn't think so. All right, that passes unanimously. And I think that is the end of our meeting. All right, I just want to remind folks, we don't have a closed session, right? Because Lori's not here, so to read the motion, so if we did, we'd never go into it. Just want to remind folks that while, yes, we did have an election a little over a week ago, the election season in Cary is still not over. We have 2 more races that will have runoff elections. So just want to let you all know, we will need you to come back to the polls on July 26th for the 2 runoff elections for District C and the at-large race in Cary. And with that, this meeting is adjourned.
Yay.
This has been a production of Cary TV. Visit the Town of Cary's website at townofcary.org.